Today I effed up by mistaking a child for a dog. I was walking home from the shops. Where I live we have very few street lights and it was extremely dark. I was walking along and there was a woman just sort of in the street light, but she had a lead. I love dogs, total dog person. So I start looking to see the dog, and I can't quite see the dog because of the way the light was in the road, but then the dog moves into the light more. I realize that the dog has one of those Rain Mac coats. It was pink with love hearts on it. So cute. It made sense for him to be wearing a coat since it's cold and rainy in the UK right now. So I did the proper British thing, walked past, gave the awkward smile and said, "Your dog's coat is so cute." Face dropped. It was then that said dog stood up after crawling around on the wet grass, and what appeared before me was a 3 to 4 year old. She had one of those backpack harnesses on. Woman was mortified. I was mortified. Confused, bright red and stumbling over my words, I spat out the worst apology you'd ever hear and ran off. I don't think I've ever embarrassed myself more. And mostly grateful I was on the other side of the road so my escape route was easier. Today I effed up by sleepwalking at a party. For a little backstory, I am a sleepwalker and tend to sleepwalk very often, especially after a little alcohol. I was at a mutual friend's party this weekend and was spending the night there. I went to sleep a little tipsy until the next morning when I woke up in a completely different room, bed and shorts. I was so confused and already a little mortified. Unfortunately it was a whole lot worse than just climbing into an empty bed. My friends just told me the entire fiasco today. During the sleepwalking episode, I took off my pants and underwear and climbed into bed with the host's parents. I then wiggled around Winnie the Pooh style onto the mom's boyfriend. Despite apologizing and letting them know I was in fact sleepwalking and was not trying to make a move on the boyfriend, I am now forbidden from the house, awake or not. Which I cannot really blame them, lol. How do I laugh this off? Today I effed up by eating too much fiber. I've been eating a lot of chickpea pasta the last few days, and if anyone is unfamiliar with it, chickpea pasta has about 8 to 10 grams of fiber per serving. My BF and I decided to meal prep several meals for the week, each consisting of about 15 to 20 grams of fiber. I'm eating one of these meals 2-3x a day. Well, this led to a bout of constipation, as I had not pooped in the last 2 days. On the morning of day 3, I drank my morning coffee and I finally got that familiar urge. I went to the bathroom, sat on the toilet, and began to do my business, but was unexpectedly met with a sharp pain. I tried to push again, but the pain got more intense. It wasn't coming out. I began to push harder, but my hole felt like it was on fire. I was sweating, panting, and pushing as hard as I could, just trying to get the whole thing over with. Finally, after about 10 minutes of agony, I heard the plop of what sounded like a brick in the toilet. Apparently all the fiber I had been eating just caused 2 to 3 days worth of poop to clump together into one giant brick of poop. It was a bloody mess once I was done, and now it hurts to sit down at my desk. Today I effed up by accidentally poisoning my mum's dog. Recently I have lost a job and my lovely mum offered me a spare room. My mum had just secured herself a new job and we were having a good old drink with her fiancé who doesn't live with her to celebrate. We drank and laughed and eventually fell asleep. I was awoken at around 6 AM by an awful sound of my mum and her boyfriend having sex, loudly. I go downstairs, make myself a cup of tea and go outside for a cigarette. Big mistake. Nature calls and I get an urgent need to evacuate my bowels. The toilet is next to their bedroom with thin walls. I don't want to listen to that, so I make an awful, hungover decision to go inside the garden. I go right at the back in a bush and tell myself I will deal with it this evening when people have gone to bed. A few hours later my mum's dog can't get up. He cannot move his back legs and it is if he is paralyzed. I panic. We call an emergency vet and I carry him to my car and take him to the vets. He shakes the entire way and urinated all over the seat. He goes in for testing and he has very high potassium levels. It turns out he ate my poop. He is put on a drip and kept in and watched overnight. He is fine, thank God, but the bill was £2,000. No one knows it was my fault. Am I the a-hole for sending my cat to a pet psychic? I have a cat, Dennis, who's my best buddy. My friend, Lisa, told me about a pet psychic who could communicate with animals. I thought it would be a hilarious prank to send Dennis there as a joke. So, I made an appointment and sent Dennis off with a list of concerns for the psychic, like asking him if he wanted a wardrobe makeover. Lisa thought it was the funniest thing ever. Turns out, the pet psychic took it seriously and gave me a long list of issues Dennis supposedly had, including an existential crisis. I burst out laughing and explained the prank, but the psychic was not amused. Now, Lisa says I'm an a-hole for making fun of someone's livelihood. Am I the a-hole for this catastrophe of a prank? Today I effed up by watching videos during a virtual work meeting. As my boss discussed an important project, I muted myself and decided to multitask, browsing the internet. I was feeling a bit daring and thought I could sneakily watch some popcorn without anyone knowing, so I put it on and got up to no good. Little did I know that I had mistakenly turned on my video, and my colleagues could see me watching away, completely oblivious to the discussion. When my boss finally asked me a direct question, I fumbled to unmute and responded with unrelated gibberish, with the video still on in the background for all my colleagues to hear. The embarrassment was palpable, and I quickly turned off my camera, but the damage was done. I learned the hard way that multitasking in virtual meetings is a huge mistake. I have messages from co-workers that I haven't dared look at yet.